Get connected with Take Two Radio Music on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio Music, or for email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit take2radiomusic.com.
And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Take Two Radio Music. I'm Pam, your host. It's a beautiful, beautiful sunny day here in Chicago, and I hope you all are enjoying your day. Today I'm very, very pleased to have with me an Anne. I have to use my what is those words? English words. Get the words out of your mouth, Pam. An award-winning singer-songwriter, and his name is Jiggly Jones. And Jiggly, are you with me?
I'm here, Pam. How you doing?
I'm doing great. If my mouth will work today.
I know what you're saying.
You know, you just have those days where the words don't want to come out the right way. So, how's things going? Is it beautiful and sunny where you are today?
It's beautiful, but it's not sunny. It's sort of overcast and rainy. So I don't mind a rainy day once in a while. It's one of those days where you have an excuse not to do anything. So
right. Isn't that funny how the weather affects us like that? You know, it seemed like I was in the doldrums for the past week because that's all it did was rain here. And that's why I guess maybe I'm super excited to see the sun out today.
Absolutely. You and everyone around you, right?
Right, exactly. So I always like to go back in time a bit with our guests and have them give us a little background on themselves. When did you become interested in music, and how did you get into it?
Well, you know, when I was a little kid, I did the things that my mom wanted me to do, which was played the clarinet and sang in the church choir. But, you know, there was a period of time where I didn't play music after that because I was too interested in growing up, playing sports and all that stuff. So, you know, really it wasn't until my late teens that I actually physically started playing an instrument, you know, even though I was a music lover. So, you know, most of the time teenagers are very into what's happening now with music and stuff, and it was the same with me. So that inspired me, and I haven't looked back since. So,
were you in different bands, like garage bands, with your friends and that, or did you just go solo all the way through?
No, actually, I started as a bass player in some cover bands around town for a few years before I even thought about writing music. You know, so you know, once I started, you know, picking up the guitar and learning how to strum a few chords and this and that, I started writing music, and since that point, that's all I've been doing. So it took me a few years of kicking around before I started that.
And I think that's probably true for most people that you hear nowadays, you know, that are in a band and are pretty established or a solo artist. They were in some kind of cover band when they were growing up. And I think that's what piques their interest, and that's where they find their passion, because they can play in a band, you know, when in their younger teens, and then just walk away from it. But those that don't are meant to be in that business. So
yeah, I mean, it's good for you.
So.
It is. It's good for you. You know, you learn how to you play, you know, different styles of music, and you get that live experience, and you know, it pretty much hones your craft.
Right, exactly. So it sounds like you play quite a few instruments. You play the guitar, the bass, and the clarinet. Anything else?
Well, I haven't touched the clarinet for a while, but you know, I dabble with a few different things. My main instruments are bass and guitar, and I don't consider myself to be a great guitar player. I do it for songwriting. When I play live, I play with an acoustic guitar, and you know, I get by. But that's fairly new to me. I've only been doing the live thing with the guitar for like 3 years or so. So
really,
I'm still learning. When I did numerous bands, you know, over the years as a singer, I just stood there with a microphone in my hand. So it's a whole different beast when you're up there alone and you have the guitar and you're still sort of learning. So it's an adventure, and it's definitely a challenge, you know.
Right, right. And you have to get used to being able to play that guitar and sing at the same time. It's
Right.
like some people can't walk and chew gum, you know.
Absolutely. Believe me, it's difficult for some of us.
So, is most of your music written from personal experiences or from people around you, and do you usually write the lyrics first?
No, actually, the lyrics are always last with me. I think I'm a little bit opposite when it comes to that. We're all people, and we learn from life, and that's exactly what comes out of me. Once in a while I'll be more specific with a song, but most of the time it's a generalization about things that everybody can relate to. So, I leave it open so people can place their own story into it, But, yeah, I do the lyrics last. I usually do the music first, and that's what inspires me to come up with the lyrics, that musical mode or whatever that I create first sometimes changes the way the lyrics end up being, so.
Mhm. And us as fans, no matter what song we like, we put our own story in that. You can't help but do it.
Yeah, right.
It'll bring back memories of something or something that you're wishful or hopeful for, or you dream of, and that's great that we can do that with your music. And I'm sure that's a great thing for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, music is like one of the most powerful things that mankind has ever developed.
Yeah.
I always said it can bring the richest man in the world to tears. So it's just
true.
amazing. Yeah, how it moves people, and it can start an argument. It can create a love scene. It covers the whole thing, the whole spectrum. So yeah, it's people put their own thing into it because that's a very emotional thing in music. So
definitely. Now, who were your inspirations in music when you were younger to what they are now? Have they changed?
Well, I mean, I always have those root people or root bands that I go back to, but I change with hopefully I change with the way music changes, to a point. I mean, you are who you are, but
right.
You gain influence every day listening to whatever. I have 3 kids, and I watch a lot of and listen to a lot of kids shows and stuff, so I'm sure that's influencing me a lot in some ways, but I go back and think about Neil Young and the Eagles and the Doobie Brothers and things like that. When I was growing up, my parents listened to what they call classic rock. So, I still believe that was the best era in music. But that, of course, that's my opinion. But but I like a lot of stuff from the '90s. Nowadays, I like the way country music is branching out. A lot of people don't, but rock music did the same thing, so, and still does.
Right.
So,
as far as music branching out, really, there's not a lot of music these days that you can stick into one genre, and that's a good thing because it brings you so much more recognition from all different types of people that like, maybe one specific genre, but yet you fit into, 3 different others. So there you've gone and picked up more fans for your music.
Yeah, I always call that a blessing and a curse, because when you're trying to market music, and I'm not, believe me, I'm in no way a salesman. I'm a songwriter, and what comes out of me comes out. So it's up to the powers that be to place me in a certain genre or whatever, and it seems so important to them marketing-wise that you have a label like that, So I'm sort of bouncing around like a ping pong ball between genres, and in a way it negatively affects me, but in a way that's the only thing I have, so that's what's going to either take me to the top or not. So, it's just it is broadening, especially if you look at country music and how it's really branching out to grabbing different tributaries and things like Americana and things like that. So, the sky's the limit as far as that goes then.
That's for sure. That's for sure, and you can't complain about that.
No, especially me, right?
Well, your music more than once has been described as having a sound all its own, but no matter how it's described, fans and people in the music industry love it, and that's been shown before because you've gotten quite a few awards and nominated for awards and Americana Artist of the Year. I mean, gosh, over 250,000 views on your videos. You performed all over the country. Even was one thing I read about B.B. King's during the CMA Festival. How awesome was that?
Yeah, absolutely. I've done 2 CMA Fests, so that was the first one. That's an awesome event. Even if you're not a country fan, it is a really, really cool thing to go to. If you like to party and hang out on the streets of a really neat town, that's the place to go. It's usually like the first week of June every year. So,
well, I think festivals are great to bring all the talent together. Those that are well known and those that are starting out will get recognition then from people that don't know them yet.
Right. Yeah.
Well,
that's
helps
the best
a lot.
of the best, I think.
Yeah, definitely. Now, what has been the most rewarding for you?
Just having people like my music. I mean, even, if an individual comes up to me, no matter where I'm at, and gives me that thumbs up, that just keeps me going. It's great to be recognized, especially in the industry, with awards and things like that. But overall, it all boils down to, the good feeling you get when you find out somebody likes your songs, So, like I've always said, this is like an emotional roller coaster ride. You have your good days and your bad days, and those are the kind of things that give you a good day as a musician, as a songwriter. When somebody recognizes you, for what you do, best or whatever.
Yeah, it's got to be a surreal feeling too when you finally get those awards from the different industries and music industry people and think, wow, I did it. This is something that you've been probably working on for so long, and you achieve it, and then it's there, and then you're like, I must be on the right path. I have to keep this going.
Yeah. The old carrot on a string thing,
Right.
It's like, I don't know if you ever go golfing or whatever, but those that golf would relate to that. You go out and you smack the ball around and you're terrible all day, but at the end of the day you have that one great shot that makes you come back the next time, and the whole day you're saying how much you hate the game, and then on the 18th hole you have this great shot that even Tiger Woods would think was great. And next thing you know, you're back out there the next week doing the same dumb thing. So that's what it's sort of like,
That's so true. Well, with being on the road and doing different gigs, do you have any funny or crazy stories you can share with us from your time on the road?
There's this weird thing that keeps going on at some of my shows, and I don't know why, because I play nice acoustic music. I'm not playing like metal or anything like that, but numerous fights seem to break out.
Really?
Yeah. I guess that's the alcohol taking hold, but I had one where it was right on top of me. I mean, literally, it was the guys were knocking over the mic stands. I was playing not up on a stage. I was down at the same level as the crowd. So right in front of me, something happened, and it ended up, tumbling right at my feet, but I kept playing. I didn't stop. I didn't miss a beat. I took this whole surreal scene in and just kept going. And it was funny because once they walked these people out the door, the rest of us had a good laugh, and that was the one thing that people were saying is, "Wow, we're amazed that you kept going like that." So
definitely, especially when it's right in front of you like that.
I'll tell you, it was like a TV commercial or something for a beer commercial. I don't know. It was pretty fun, but that was just one of a few, So I don't know what it is in my music that incites that, but it's sort of shocking because my music isn't in any way doesn't in any way condone that kind of thing. So
no, not at all. Well, you recently released your new album called Jiggly Jones, A Mountain, a Struggle, a Tunnel, a Light. And I have to tell you, that's an extremely interesting title for your album, and it inspires a fan of music to listen to it, what it's about. What is it about for you, and what can we expect to hear from it?
Well, we touched on that a little bit earlier. It's life. That's a metaphor for life. I mean, it's a struggle, and everybody struggles in some way or another. And that mountain that you have to climb, or numerous mountains, hopefully along the way you find a way to get through that, which would be a tunnel. And obviously the light at the end of the tunnel is what everybody would want. So it just encompasses that whole idea. And, I was kicking around album titles for weeks, writing things down, and all of a sudden that just hit me, and, maybe not in that specific order. And I that was it. I knew right then and there that was what it was going to be. So it just fell right in my lap one day, and that's what it ended up being. So.
I love it. I absolutely love that one. It's one of the more different but really self-explanatory, as you said, when you read it. And then when you listen to the music, of course, you're going to hear what you're talking about. So good job on that. Kudos to you.
Thank you. Appreciate that. That's all part of the creative process that makes you pull your hair out along the way. So,
yeah.
But it's fun.
Now, how do you choose songs for an album? I mean, because I'm sure you have a million of them.
This time around, the label helped me pick a few. I mean, I had a bunch, and they helped pick, from that bunch and narrow it down. But, you try to pick the songs that you think are the best overall, unless you're trying to do some kind of concept album or something like that. So... everybody's opinion is different as to what is best and this and that. So you just try to put your best foot forward, because that record is a lot of work, and you want to get the most out of it you can. So you certainly don't want to shortchange yourself from the get-go. But it's just one of them processes that's it's not easy sometimes, and that's part of the whole thing. It's one of those things that you do.
Yeah, and thankfully, with you guys writing songs all the time, you're going to have enough material where you'll be able to pick the cream of the crop from somebody else's perspective when you have others helping you with it.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm just getting ready to hibernate for the winter and go through that process again as far as writing new material and stuff. So we had a tough winter last year, and I figured, and I was traveling around in that, and I had a bunch of harrowing experiences because of that. I figured this is the perfect time this year I need new material for the future recordings and stuff, and maybe I'm better off just doing it in the wintertime where I could be home with the family and concentrate on that. So I think after next week, I got an award show to go to in November, and after that I'm going to, settle down and write some music throughout the rest of the year.
I think that's good thinking, because I live in Chicago, so you can well imagine how bad our winters are. So I think most people want to hibernate at that time, and you can do something constructive.
Right, there you go. Yep. So you come out of it and you feel like you've done something, right?
Yes, exactly. I'm going to play a song from your album that's been released as a single called Walk on Me. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about it?
That song's the oldest song I had. I brought that back from years ago because I thought it was a good, solid song as far as the way it was put together, and it ended up being picked as the single by the record company. So I was shocked about that. It's just a song, once again, that generalizes. It's not about me. It's just people have dealt with things, a lot of similar things as far in relationships and stuff, and one of them would be the feeling that you're being taken advantage of by the other person. So it's sort of about forgiveness also. In this particular case, the person saying, you walk all over me, but at the end of the day, they still consider them, to be in love with them. So, it's a tough thing to do sometimes.
Yes, and definitely people can relate to that. So that's I love that there's music out there that fits any type of mood you're in, or even if you're in a bad mood and want to be in a good mood, you can just throw it on and
right.
listen to it, and it'll change your whole day for you. So life without music, I just could never, ever imagine that. I can turn off my television, I can turn off the internet, I can do all that stuff, but to not go through a day without a single song, it just would be unheard of.
Yeah, I think the best invention ever made was the car radio,
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine being in my car without music. It would be torture,
I know, especially if you have long drives.
Right. Yeah.
Or you got kids screaming in the background. Even that'll settle them down. Throw on some Disney music or something, and they'll chill out.
Right.
So.
Well, that'll get worse when they just start singing out loud. Which I experience a lot. So.
I have 4 kids. I know how that goes.
Okay. Right. Yep. Same page then.
Right. Well, another thing I wanted to bring up is that you've donated your song Christmas 365 to the Spirit of December Volume 4 charity album. And I think that's awesome. The funds from the album will be used for those less fortunate, like people that have lost everything from natural disasters and the economy and such, or these hurricanes we've had, these bad winters.
Right.
I want to thank you for doing that. I think it's so very important to give back.
Thanks. So I could thank my manager, Michael Stover, for that. He's the one that digs up all these opportunities and things, and when that one came up, I was really happy about that. So, and not only that, this is a song that's one of my favorite songs I've ever written, and it's a Christmas song, so every year it can keep coming back, and that's mainly why I did it. It's something that each year you get to re-release it. So, it's just it just turned out to be it's just one of those songs that brings back a lot of memories and things. So.
Yeah, and Christmas songs, like you said, every year they can come back. It's endless. People listen to the majority of their Christmas music is probably the same year after year.
Yep.
But then again, you'll come across some new ones and throw those in, and then those will be your same ones year after year, and it keeps going.
That's right. Yep.
What is your favorite Christmas song sung by somebody else?
Well, like you said, you keep hearing them every year, so
yeah.
Sometimes they wear thin on you too, right? I would say probably off the top of my head, it would be the John Lennon one. So This Is Christmas, I think it's called, or at least the lyrics are saying that. Yeah, that it has a nice feel, nice open air kind of feel to it. So.
And what's not bad about John Lennon, right?
Right.
No matter what he's saying, the man was a genius. Gone too soon, definitely.
Yes,
well,
absolutely.
That album will be released on November 4th. And for our listeners, you can go to There Is Hope. What does it say? I can't even read. ThereIsHopeRecords.com. There we go. When you write it all together, sometimes it's hard for the eyes to pick that up.
Yeah, right.
And your album is now available for purchase on iTunes and Amazon and wherever fans get their downloads from. What do you think, speaking of that, about the way music is purchased and listened to these days? Do you think it's better than back in the day where we had to go to the actual store and buy the album, or do you think it's not so great?
It's one of those things that's good and bad. It's good for the listener because it's convenient, and life these days seems to be more about convenience than anything, So as far as for the artist, though, it's good that you can get the word out there internationally, with the push of a button, But then again, everybody's out there like that too, so it doesn't cut down on the competition, that's for sure. The thing that bothers me mostly is the the websites that come up where you can get free downloads and stuff like that. So free streaming is one thing, but to actually have a copy of it for free sort of takes the wind out of the sails of the people that are putting all the hard work into it. So, I think right now the music business is reeling because the technology has gotten ahead of them, and they have to figure out a way to. It's going to change, and it's already changing in a way that we won't recognize it. The old ways are gone, and like I said, it's good and bad. So you just sort of got to sit back and see how it goes, and adapt to it in that way.
Right. I know I've mentioned this on other shows. I have my Music Monday shows, and I always tell the listeners that if you love somebody's music, go out there and purchase it, because you guys are all indies. Indies means independent of label, and you don't have that money backing you to make your music and do what you want to do and go on, road trips and concerts and stuff like that. You guys do this all on your own. It comes from your own pocket. So when they have those places that you can go and get free music, you're taking that away from somebody that you love and you want to hear more from, and is not going to be able to do more music as often as you'd like or as much as you'd like if you're getting their music for free.
Yeah, and that's great that you mentioned that, because you can't, a lot of us don't necessarily do this to become rich and famous, but we can't do it if we're losing money hand over foot. It costs a lot of money to put a record out. I mean, a lot. And you start out in the red, and it's hard to get out of that. Traveling and stuff like that. If you go away for the weekend somewhere and you're staying somewhere, it could cost you, with the gas and everything, $400 or $500. So, independent doesn't necessarily mean without label too. I wanted to mention, because a lot of indie labels, people don't understand that a lot of times that you're not really making money like you see the big stars and stuff. They're on the label, this and that, but the independent labels don't necessarily pay you as an artist. They pay for, sometimes they pay for your product to be put out, but the money that you make is what you do after that. So you might get lucky and find one that will pay for your video and pay for your recording and this and that, but then you're starting out, with from scratch from there, as far as any kind of income and all that. So, yeah, it's a difficult road, and if you can't sustain yourself financially, it's almost impossible to continue on. So.
Right. So either way, people out there listening, go and buy the music. That's it. Bottom line.
I appreciate it.
You love it, you go buy it. That's it,
99 cents. There you go.
Right? I mean, come on. You can't even get a cup of coffee for that these days. So.
Yep.
So what advice have you received from someone that you use to this day and would like to pass on to those just starting out?
Advice to me was always be yourself. Music changes and stuff, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to change who you are as far as, your creative process or the style of music that you're doing, because it'll come back around. And, my advice to anybody from what I've learned would be persistence. You just absolutely cannot do this without persistence. It's something that you got to put your helmet on and bear down, because it's tough. It really is. It'll beat you up mentally on a constant basis. So you got to persevere through all that.
If you don't love what you're doing, if you can't make it through the hard times, then you're not meant for that business. That's for sure. And that's I think why they call it entertainment business, music business,
Right.
There's a reason for that. I'd also like to mention for our listeners, you have an upcoming gig on November 14th in Essington, Pennsylvania at the Deck at Harbor Point. Is that for just a basic gig, or you mentioned you have an award show? Is that what that's for?
No, the award show actually is the next day, and that's in Charlotte, North Carolina. So as soon as I'm done that show, I'm I'm in bed and up real early and driving 8.5 hours. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that show just happens to be on the tail end of all the shows I've done in the last couple months. And like I said, I put this deadline on where I was going to start writing after that show, after the 15th, which is the award show. So that's the last one on my schedule for now. I mean, if something really important comes up, I'll make time for that. But I like to really concentrate on the creative side when I'm doing that and not pull away from it as much as I can. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, definitely. And Christmas time, holidays, all that. I mean, it's great to play music every now and again out somewhere, but right. It's a time to spend with your family and your friends, and like you said, hibernate and write some more music.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, also for our listeners, you can keep up on Jiggly, what his next gig is, his music, everything that he's involved with, by going to his website, which is jigglyjones.com, and it's JIGGLEY Jones.com. You can also follow him on Twitter at Jiggly Jones and the Facebook as well as Jiggly Jones. Are you anywhere else that I need to mention? Of course, your videos are on YouTube.
I always mention the website because from there you can go anywhere. So
right,
all the social media links, anything that's important is usually posted on there. So it's easier to have one address or whatever, and you can branch out from there. So. Yeah,
there's always those little buttons, and I see you have them as well, your SoundCloud, your Facebook, your Reverb Nation, and that. Even the download thing where you can click the iTunes button and get that music instantaneously.
Yep, there you go.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me today, Jiggly. I wish you all the best, and we'll continue to support you and your music.
Thank you, Pam. I appreciate you having me, and I really appreciate what you do and people like you, what you do as far as getting the word out there, and obviously you have a passion for what you do also, so appreciate that.
I do. Thank you. I do. Thank you very much, and you enjoy the rest of your day.
Okay, you too.
All right,
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye. And for our listeners, here is Walk On Me. what a great song, and that was Walk On Me by Jiggly Jones. Be sure to pick up his new album, Jiggly Jones, A Mountain, a Struggle, a Tunnel, and a Light. And I want to give a small shout-out to his manager, Michael Stoller from MTS Management Group, who's won Manager of the Year for the second year in a row. Congratulations. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and close the show. I hope everybody enjoyed the interview with Jiggly. He's such an inspiration. And everybody have a wonderful day. I'll be back on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern Time with an hour or so of the best indie music from around the world. Take care, everybody, and God bless.
Get connected with Take Two Radio Music on Facebook or Twitter at Take Two Radio Music. Or for email updates on future shows, follow at Blog Talk Radio. For previous episodes, upcoming guests, and more, visit TakeTwoRadioMusic.com.